Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And this is Victoria Tedesco.
Oh, yes, it is. And we are here live for the Post-Raw show number 9. It is October 1st. And I have to say, this was the first show that really felt like Raw in the fall during football season.
I like that.
Yeah, this is definitely a Raw in the fall. Man, oh man, this was a show tonight. I think it's probably going to wind up being a very quick show to talk about tonight.
Well, we always say that, but then somehow...
I know, we always say that, and then it goes to like 4 hours. Yeah, so I don't think so. But thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. I see there's a lot of activity in the chat room already. Doug Lackey's here. Oh, yeah! All right. Doug Lackey, we got Quentin, we got Ashley here, Billy, of course. It's
hopping.
It's hopping right now. I like it. Hey, Douglas, hello.
Hi,
and Quentin,
Doug.
of course. Hey, it's the face of Wrestleview. That would be you, Victoria.
Oh, thanks.
Not me.
Thank you.
Who would want,
Or like the lady of Wrestleview, as Quentin likes to say.
Oh, that's right.
as well.
She is. You are
Yes,
definitely
the first lady,
without question, the first lady of Wrestleview. I think you might. I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably have to talk to Adam one day and see if we've ever had a woman on the staff before. I can't remember ever. Oh my God! And Torqueman, I don't see it. We looked at the picture last night. Torqueman says, "I still say Shane Helms looks like Mike."
I don't see it. I'm
his
sorry.
His face is a little pudgier than mine, but we have the similar beards. When I saw him in Chicago, I was talking with him for a little bit. It wasn't like talking in a mirror or anything like that, but he should be so lucky that guy. He should be so lucky. He could get lucky, having a quick little lightning in a bottle gimmick with the hurricane gimmick, and he got to face The Rock on Raw one day, and then he gets to look like me.
Maybe it's one of those things where,
twice.
people say, "Oh, you look like your siblings," and like, "Nah, no, I don't."
Yeah,
I'm not seeing it, but other people might.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, but if
I don't look like my siblings.
If my wife doesn't see it, then it's just not true. It's just not true. Well, everybody, greetings to you all. Oh, Jamel's also here. Hello, Jamel.
Hello.
Oh. Hey, Doug says me and Helms have friendly jaw lines. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I guess
it means exactly what it means.
You know what? My jawline, I am very proud of my jawline. It is nice. It is a good jawline. My cheeks are a little
friendly.
A little too much. Number one, before we get started, I gotta say, I love Adam so much. I really do. Friends for over a decade now.
I know what you're going to
But damn,
say.
So he took a little clip from last week's show of me and Victoria talking about the Brie Bella, knee to the head of Liv Morgan. And he got the most, I don't know how he does it, but every week Adam somehow gets the most ass ugly picture of me possible from a screen grab. And this one I was like,
you're like,
I don't even know how I made the face. I don't think I could ever possibly replicate that, but apparently I made the face. So I'd like to start off.
I think it should be like a meme now.
I think my face is becoming meme worthy now. But I think me and Victoria should just start off with our screen grab poses of the week. So
I'll do the double chin.
You can't see the double. Your microphone's in the way. You got to tilt out of the way.
All right.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, so Adam can screen grab that. At least if I'm going to have a horrible picture of me on a screen grab,
you want to do it on your own terms.
I want to have it on my own terms.
Absolutely.
Damn it. So that's a thing. Okay. So I don't know how much there is to talk about Raw tonight because it was just there, but there is some stuff to talk about from wrestling news outside. Number one, I guess I don't know if should I start off talking about this. I mean, it's
yeah. You know why? Because then we can kind of end the show on a positive note.
Right? Yeah, we can end on positive notes. Okay, so I guess I should just start it off. So I'll tell you a little story real quick. Unfortunately, very very sad. Someone reached out to me last night and let me know that Mike Siciliano, a longtime author that used to write for Wrestleview, he hasn't written in almost 8 or 9 years. Longtime writer though of Pros from the Palace. Excuse me. A lot of of editions of that. Unfortunately, he passed away on Saturday. I've known Mike for years. I followed his work before I started working for Wrestleview. Really nice guy. I looked, before I started, I looked up to Mike because he was like posting every week. Pros from the Palace was every week, and he had good insights to things. Sometimes he was a little over the edge. We've gotten into it a few times, just going back and forth about stupid stuff, wrestling. It's like the silly stuff. I've never had a real life actual issue with Mike Siciliano, but he was passionate. He was intense. He liked what he liked, and if he didn't like it, he'd let you know and go back at you back and forth. But when I started writing for Wrestleview, or when I started trying to write for Wrestleview, I had asked Adam for, I've been a long time reader, and I asked Adam starting I guess in 2006, if there's a spot for me, I'd like to, get a column, and Adam gave me the cursory, yeah, we'll get back to you when we're looking for columnists and stuff like that. And totally blew me off. I will never forgive you for that, Nat Martin. Never. I'm just kidding. But,
please.
Yes. But so I started up, I knew there was an opening coming up with, I saw that SmackDown had a need, and it was all, I went back and looked at the records, because I never really checked out SmackDown that much anyway. And I saw that they didn't have a recapper for SmackDown. I was like, well, this is my shot, I guess. And I took that shot. But before I did that, I started up a blog spot. If anybody remembers Blogspot, I was blogging about wrestling, and I got in touch with Siciliano, and he was doing his Pros from the Palace, but he also had a blog spot, and he was nice enough to plug my blog to his followers, and he had a good following on his blog spot, and that got me some recognition. When I first started, he was gracious enough to look over my recaps, because he used to recap SmackDown too, and give me some pointers. Nice guy. I know people have had issues with him over the years, and but I think we can all.
It's nice to pay homage to somebody.
Yeah, and it's. I think we can all agree that it's
very sad,
silly things like wrestling, shouldn't impact how you feel about somebody, and when they pass away, and my heart really broke for Mike's family. He's got a wife and 3 kids. And that's heartbreaking to lose your spouse, your father. His wife Marcy posted about it last night, and his 3 sons. Their names were Nicholas, Brian, and Jonathan. Our thoughts are with them, and it was nice knowing Mike for these years. I know he's had some demons. I know he was battling cancer for the past year. And I don't know if it was the cancer if that was actually earlier this year, which makes it a little more sobering to me.
Yeah.
But, I just wanted to take a moment to just pay respects to a nice man, a fellow wrestling fan, and a fellow Wrestleview co-worker.
Yes.
But most importantly, a good family man. So rest in peace, Mike Siciliano. It was a pleasure to know you. And
that was nice.
Yes.
That was very nice.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk about some fake stuff, some fun stuff. Let's talk about wrestling. I'm looking over in these comments. I don't know how old Mike was. I don't. If I had to guess, I think he was in his late 40s. Unfortunately, maybe touched 50. I'm not. I don't think he was any older than that. I dedicated my Raw recap. Quentin says this show is dedicated to Mike. I would gladly dedicate this show to Mike. I dedicated my Raw recap to him as well. Yeah, it's cool stuff. And Jamel also enjoyed the Pros in the Palace. I think a lot of people, that have been longtime readers of Wrestleview definitely came in reading some Pros in the Palace. He was on the Pro Wrestling Rewind and all that stuff too, so he's gotten his face out there. All right, wrestling. Raw from Seattle, Washington. I don't even know. I don't even know how to even start attacking this show.
I think we should just go from the beginning to the end.
You think so?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I guess so. Why not? That's always.
There's a lot that will just wind up skipping through. Not skipping through, but going through quickly anyway. So
I think so.
Why not?
So Raw opened up with this really. I don't even know how to properly explain, but I just thought it was an odd promo from or interview segment with Dean Ambrose and Charlie Caruso. Okay, so last week they did the show long storyline, which I really liked. You know, we talked about how much we enjoyed that with teasing Dean Ambrose possibly turning, but it's like it felt like that was resolved last week. So it was the Shield versus AOP and Baron Corbin last week.
Right.
And Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre were at ringside watching. And what happened was the Shield won, and then Ambrose they had that great visual. It was such an awesome visual of Ambrose between the Dogs of War
and
right?
the Shield.
And the Shield, and he was like, "Oh,
looking
where do I go? Where do I go?"
Right.
And then he went with the Shield. So that to me, it's a show long storyline, and it's resolved. So it felt like they just ran out of ideas for like what do we do tonight? And they did the same exact thing.
Yeah. But this time it didn't really work that well.
I know, because they already did it.
But you know what, though? I have to be honest with you. I think Dean Ambrose, for what it was, even though it was resolved, I think he started off the show very nicely. I think, even though it was kind of awkward, he still was able to bring it back to life a little bit. But then it dragged throughout the night, which was like, okay, like, enough's enough. But he started it off pretty strong, and then it just kind of, like, his, like... Yes. Bringing up old wounds and everything, and like him reflecting on it.
Right.
But then it just kind of got awkward. Like, just like
it just got odd.
Especially with Charlie Caruso.
Charlie Caruso. She is.
She's another one who's like robotic. Coming in
a certain sense, the WWE roster has an embarrassment of riches, like total embarrassment of riches, with like the talent that they have in the ring, but. Man, their personnel. I mean, I love what Renee Young's doing on commentary right now, but
we need her.
Like we also need her doing backstage interviews.
No,
like,
I know.
Like there's no one to replace Renee Young.
No, there isn't.
There is not an embarrassment riches there on the announcing side of things. They have
Mauro
Ranallo they have Mauro Ranallo and Renee Young, who I think is doing a good job so far.
Yes.
A very short sample size. Mm-hmm. Corey Graves has his moments where he's good, but. Man, Charlie Caruso.
She is brutal.
Like, it really felt like her batteries were just running low.
She's monotone though. Like she's has
just
nothing.
Boring.
She's very boring. That's actually the perfect word to describe her. She's completely boring. But for what he worked with, he did very well.
Yes. Oh, and I have to say, the promo delivery is way better.
Oh, way better than it's ever been.
Way better. When he was trying to do like the Heath Ledger like rip off, like doing all that crazy stuff.
He still does it, but it's not as big. It's not as much now.
Yeah, and he's like punching himself in the head and all this stuff. And he's like, I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing like weird stuff on on his promos, and I thought the delivery was actually really good tonight.
It really was. And then he kind of made it. At the end with the brotherhood, that's what it all comes down to.
Right.
Like he's going through the motions of everything. Yeah, I don't have a title.
Yeah.
It is. It does seem like that I'm the weakest link. Yeah, no, Seth Rollins was not there for me.
Right.
But he's like, but it's about brotherhood.
Yes. Yeah, he said the Shield is not a business. The Shield is not a brand. The Shield is a brotherhood. Mm-hmm. So he went through all this stuff. She was like, don't you feel like jealous? And he's like, yeah, I don't have a title. No. It sucks. And I've been cleaning up their dirty work ever since I came back. Mm-hmm. But it's a brotherhood. So, it's kind of cut and dry there. But then they send out Baron Corbin. I think what they were trying to do was like, tease a little dissension, and try to like, I guess, kickstart this storyline that they did last week. So Corbin comes out, gives him three options. It's like, you can face Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title. Mm-hmm. You can face Roman Reigns for the Universal title.
Right.
Or you can face Braun Strowman in a one-on-one match. So
sticking to his brotherhood.
Yeah, sticking with brother. Well, he didn't. He actually chose option 4, which was to beat up Baron Corbin, which was not happening. Luckily tonight, this was not a good show, but no Baron Corbin wrestling. So
God,
I like that. I can live with that. But damn, so Corbin sends out Strowman. That match is next.
You know what? I was actually really excited. I was pumped.
You were excited?
Well, no, for the Strowman and Ambrose. I was like, wow, this is going to be good.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was like a pretty, good setup. But then I was just not feeling it. I was like, no. It just fell flat so quickly. Like it really, really did.
Yeah.
I was like, I was actually, I have to say, I was really, really excited. I was. Strowman and Ambrose.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be like a pretty good match. But
yeah, most Braun Strowman matches against little guys, like it's a lot of Strowman like dominating, and then like a quick little comeback, and then Strowman gets the finish.
I thought it really picked up though when Rollins and Reigns interfered. I did.
Yeah.
Then it kind of like there was some excitement towards the latter part of it.
Right. So like it's mostly just like the first half of the match, and like everything. This was a night where everything had to go to commercial break. Every match had to go through a commercial break, save for like I think like 2 or 3 of them. I was like, oh my god, how many? Why? And after what I thought was, like kind of rehashing a storyline that was dead, to then go to this, and then Strowman just kind of dominating Ambrose the entire time, I just was like, I got bored very quickly. It did pick up in the match. It did pick up in the match. Not just with interference, but actually, I thought that Ambrose actually made a nice comeback on Strowman, starting with the dirty deeds. He slid out of the, he kind of like picked him apart. It was a good dirty deeds. It looked really good. But then like Strowman was right back on top, and actually there was a really cool moment here too, where he just kind of crushes him with a shoulder. I just love his face. Like I could just Strowman's face, just like he has such a great face. There's something magic about it. He just just him running him over. But the one thing that I really liked, and it was a DQ finish because Roman Reigns ran down to the ring and Superman punched Strowman because it looked like he was going. He hit Ambrose with the running power slam, and then he was going for a second when the Reigns came out. He punched Strowman, caused a DQ. This was where actually I thought Corey Graves did a really nice job when he said, "Oh, he just cost his brother the share of the winner's purse," and I was like, why don't they do that more often?
Yeah.
Why don't they talk about that more often?
Right. Make an actual connection while it's happening.
Right.
And using things that they said prior to what's happening
no doubt.
currently. But
also talking about a winner's purse. It's like, okay, so there is like a purpose to these matches every now and then. It's not like, okay, well, you showed up to work, so you just got to fight. You just got to have, like, every, prize fighter gets paid for throwaway finishes.
Yes.
So I thought, like, there's a couple things that they're doing, like they go to they have their favorite finishes. They like the count-out finish. They like the DQ finish. They like the schmaz, no contest thing.
It plays it safe.
But there are a couple different finishes that have been phased out through the years that would really, like, add something to the show. Especially if you're going to do, like, these long matches where you don't want anybody to win. Like, how about, like, last week what was the match where I was just like, wow, it actually was pretty good, and then they did, like, a total, like, oh, no, it wasn't actually good. It was Lashley versus Elias, and then it was, like, that really crummy finish that they gave us. And I was like, you know what, if you're going to do a long match, like, why give everybody like a really disappointing finish? Like, how about don't give them a finish at all? Bring back like the time limit draw. Like have it like. Why can't we do time limit draws, especially on a 3-hour show when they're trying to draw out as much time as possible?
Do you think these writers forget?
I don't think these writers even knew that there was such a thing as a time limit draw.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like that the reason why they're not doing it is because maybe they are really not as knowledgeable as they're not. Come off to be.
They're not. Like, I think a prerequisite to be a writer in WWE is that you can't be a wrestling fan. I'm not even kidding. You can't be a wrestling fan. They don't like, they're afraid of the writers coming off as marks, and then the wrestlers won't take them seriously. Like, but if the writers don't write for the wrestlers because the wrestlers aren't trusted to come up with their own segments, then the wrestlers don't get on TV and get material. So it's like, that's like a stupid
Well, it's just
point.
a weird cycle
It's just odd. The whole culture of WWE is just weird. But yeah, I from what I hear, it was that you're not allowed to have, be a mark. You can't be a fan. But yeah,
why must you like our product?
Yeah, time limit draw to come back would be, a really nice start. I think that would add something to a 3-hour Raw.
Another reason why they might not be doing that is because Vince McMahon is all about, no, we can't do things that are old and blah, 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 so
no 80s finishes,
If he can't even number a WrestleMania, why on earth is he going to bring back like classic finishes?
I know. The thing with the numbers on WrestleMania is just so dumb. As if like Super Bowl 52 like did terribly, like or it's going to do terribly.
I feel like anybody
I don't. Oh,
maybe like a week or two.
You don't make it.
But none of the writers stay very long. They just cycle through them so quickly. It's very, 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 very hard. I feel like nowadays to have a job consistently within that company, especially if you're a writer.
Oh, writers, the turnover is very, very high, very, very high. Doug Leckie, I'm smart, but I will not mark. I like that. Yeah, I mean, you have to find the right wrestling fan, I guess, if they're going to be a writer backstage. But yeah, anyway, I don't know how we got off on this tangent, but yeah, because talking about winners' purses, talking about like bringing in like a time limit finish, where nobody gets like the share of the winner's purse or something like that. Like it just gives it more of like a purpose, a point. It's like I was, like Bayley versus Alicia Fox. It's like, well, what's the point? Well, there's a winner's purse now, but I think they should bring that up for, more often than they do. I think Corey Graves said it as like a throwaway thing, just to like put emphasis on the storyline. But I really think it's something that
that's probably something
could
that
be valuable. Could be valuable.
I don't think Vince McMahon was talking in his ear.
Yeah, damn it! Talk about the winner's purse, brother.
No. I think he
talk about that winner's purse.
He actually might have gotten in trouble for it later on, but
no, I hope
no, not
God
like
almighty.
In major trouble, but maybe like no, sorry.
God almighty, no.
You never know with Vince McMahon. You can't sneeze around him, so it's very hard to just.
That was a great story that Paul Heyman told on Steve Austin podcast a few years ago. He talked about how him and Vince were like really jiving together, and they were planning out like from Survivor Series to WrestleMania, and then all of a sudden Heyman just got in like a sneezing fit, and Vince was like, kicked him out of his office.
You would definitely be fired because with your allergies and with your wrestling
not
fan.
Anymore with the Dimista.
That's true. We're promoting Dimista.
If anybody has really bad allergies and you can't stop sneezing, Dimista, and like it changed my life.
Can you please give it to our neighbor?
Oh my God! Yeah, we have a guy that lives downstairs from us. Every day, like in the morning, you can hear him through the floors.
Now.
You can't hear anything in this apartment, but I hear him through the floor sneezing. It's like crazy.
Like if you hear us laughing like randomly at the show, like throughout the show, it's because he's just sneezing downstairs. And I'm like, somebody help this guy.
So odd. So odd. So yeah. Anyway, I'd like to see that finish come back at least, and more talk about like giving the matches purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So it just builds drama and just extra things to talk about on a show, because it's like the same old
mm-hmm.
all the time. Especially like now when we're going to be getting into the monotony of things. So, and I did actually make a point in my tweet. I said how much I like the talk of winners' purses, and it gives the match a point. So what happened was, then Ziggler and McIntyre run down, I think, and they join Braun Strowman on stage. Baron Corbin comes out, says this is not the Shield show. So later tonight, Seth Rollins will take on Drew McIntyre, as Roman Reigns will face Dolph Ziggler right now. So it's not the Shield show, so let's book the entire show around the Shield. It's like, whatever. It's like I've given up on like
semantics.
Baron Corbin and like any type of good material being written.
He didn't have a match tonight.
Being written for him or delivered by him. It's just it's bad on both ends. The writers don't do a good job with him, and he doesn't do a good job with the bad stuff the writers give him. Anyway, so
listen, the Roman Reigns versus Dolph. I thought this was better than the Ambrose and Strowman match.
Mm-hmm.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not fantastic. They kind of went in tears. If you're talking about the Shield matches tonight.
Yes.
Ambrose and Strowman were like,
it built up nicely.
Yeah, that was the worst, in my opinion, the worst one. Then Roman and Dolph were right in the middle.
Right.
And then Rollins and Drew McIntyre was the best out of all three. So they did level it up.
I know.
Pretty nicely. But there's nothing that stood out in the match. But it wasn't a terrible match. It was just a match. I didn't hate it. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't have gotten rid of it. It was a pretty good, overall. But nothing stood out to me.
Yeah, it existed. It was a match. I actually expected more, just because Roman Reigns is. Sorry, just ruined my camera angle for a second. But Roman Reigns is he delivers usually good matches. So does obviously Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
And I figured that they'd go a little harder in this one. The finish was great, which I just showed in a GIF. But It just was there.
It was there.
Nothing flashy, nothing frilly.
No.
And this was at the point where I realized, it just feels like everybody's just kind of taking it easy. I know they're in Seattle, so it's closer to Australia, but it's still a long plane ride.
Yeah, and you can't really blame them, beforehand. Obviously, they want to conserve their energy as much as they can.
It just felt like, okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they phoned
Roman
it in,
Reigns,
though, but I think
they didn't phone it in,
No.
but they didn't exactly go out of their way to have a knockdown, I'm not looking, and don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for classics either. But I'm looking for, if I'm going to invest 3 hours in the show, I want to see that you at least try to plan out a match.
I think they did though more so than maybe the first. Well, actually, probably with Ambrose and Strowman, they had every intention of having a little bit more of standout moments, special moments throughout the match, which they, for the most part, did towards the end. But I think Roman and Dolph were successful in keeping that balance of, okay, we're not going to kill ourselves tonight for this Raw in Seattle, but we're not going to, phone it in either.
Right.
I thought they had a pretty good balance overall.
Yeah. Wow, doesn't that make you excited to buy a ticket next time they're in Seattle? Wow.
It's all a strategy.
I know.
No, you have to buy a ticket when you know that there's going to be something really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, so you gotta pick your spots. Like the SmackDown that we're gonna go to at the end of October is the week after SmackDown 1000. So,
but I thought we couldn't go to that one.
No, we're going to that one.
No, but there was something you're like, no, we can't go. Don't you have a workshop?
No, I'm going. We're going.
Okay,
I found tickets for they were $35 each.
I thought you had a workshop. I know you were telling me you had a workshop.
No, I hope not.
Okay.
I hope not.
All right, confirm tomorrow because I not making
No. I have one 2 days after and it's only a half day.
Okay.
We're just making real life plans on live podcasting. Right. Well,
sorry, I'm just confirming.
All right. So
Jeez.
Yeah. I liked before the match, though. They did this thing twice with Ambrose, because again, revisiting that storyline they did last week. Ambrose in the trainer's room, icing his shoulder. Seth Rollins walks in, and Rollins is like, "Hey, it's the war, it's not the battle. Reigns came down at the right, because he had, when he had to." And Ambrose just goes, "What's funny? I could be Intercontinental Champion right now," and he walks off.
No.
You didn't like that?
No, I didn't. I thought
that was cute.
I thought those segments, kind of made him look like a baby.
Yeah.
Well, poor me, my brothers are picking on me. I don't know. I wasn't into it.
Yeah.
No, really. I felt like it was just poor me. I'm the victim of the night.
Yeah. And then he did the same thing with Reigns later on the night when he said, what's funny, I could be Universal Champion right now, and he walks off.
Right.
And then, but it turned out to be for nothing.
But that's and it was.
But I thought at least if they're trying, that was a good try.
Well, yeah, if they want to keep the continuity of it.
Also, before the Reigns Ziggler match started, the referee was holding up the title, like this is going to be a Universal title match, and then trying to get a little cheap heat from the crowd, trying to build them up a little bit. And believe me, heat from this crowd would be coming later on in the night, but they tried to send Baron Corbin out there and say no,
it was
no title match, and it's like everybody's like, whatever. Like, who
it
cares?
was scorching later on.
It was scorching later on. I can't wait. I actually can't wait to get to that.
I know.
Okay. The next match was the match with two women who have too many R's in their names: Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Wyatt, or Ruby Riott. I called her Wooby Wyatt, as Doug calls her. I believe that's how he says it. Douglas is in the chat room if he wants to correct me. Be my guest, please. Too many R's. It was like, when I was recapping this thing,
the arm bar.
The arm bar.
It's controlled R for everyone who wants to know.
Yes, the controlled R, in case you don't know your phonics. I really enjoyed this match.
This was, at this point in the night, out of the 3 matches that we had, this was my favorite match. And the reason why is because Ronda Rousey was wrestling more. She's really now she's becoming this full-time person. She's not holding back. She really was. And I think Ruby Riott,
she's a superstar.
I think I think they really complemented each other tonight. And like I said, out of those 3 matches towards the beginning of the night, this was my favorite one. I think she's really showing her stardom. Finally, because that's what I was just been wanting to I'm like, wrestle more, please, please, please. And now she's doing it.
Yeah. So, it's Wanda Rousey versus Wooby Wyatt. Thank you, Doug.
What and Wabbits?
Yeah, I really liked Ronda Rousey, what she was doing in this one, but I really loved Ruby Riott in this one as well. Ruby Riott really went at her doing the fish hook thing in the mouth. I thought was a really nice touch. Yeah. Ronda on the cell is really, really good. She's really solid on the cell. And her comeback was actually very, very good tonight. Very good. Very powerful. But I didn't agree with Adam when he said it when we covered Hell in a Cell. But now that I'm thinking about it and I'm watching this, it's
now what?
I am kind of... I'm ready to... it's like I'm not... Obviously, I'm not turning on Rousey or anything like that. I really enjoy what she's doing. And
choose your words carefully, my friend.
I think she's doing a great job. But I'm at the point now where I want to see some character development from Ronda Rousey. I want to see more than just hey, I'm the cute newcomer. Here I am. I'm new to this, so just take it easy on me. Don't criticize me too much. But I want to see some character development. I want to hear I want them to send her to acting class. I want to hear a promo that has some real fire to it. I want to see something from Ronda Rousey more than just there's my face, and then doing the judo arm throws and stuff like that. I want to see just a little more. I'm getting to that point, and I'm sure it's coming. Probably for Evolution, if not Evolution, maybe Survivor Series. But I'm ready for it.
Well, I think she has to have some real heat in order to do that. Somebody if it really is going to go the way it is with Nikki Bella, at Evolution.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess if Nikki's going to turn on her, that's the rumored match.
Right, the rumored match. Not confirmed or anything. But if that's really the route that she's going, then maybe she'll be able to act a little bit more and bring some of that genuine heat. Because
maybe, and then eventually when Natalya turns on her, but God, that is going to be cringeworthy. Natalya is she is. I've seen dead mice emote and act better than when I dissected a frog in 9th grade. It had more personality because I literally we had fun because the frogs were all rigor mortis and all that stuff. We would drop them on their hind legs and they'd bounce.
What's wrong with you?
I guess we're sick people, but
you're sick.
It was 9th grade. You can kind of get a pass for it.
Oh my gosh!
It's I'm not weird Brett Kavanaugh in high school or anything like that. That guy was odd. But,
okay.
And I'm not getting political.
No,
the guy definitely had a
Enough.
weird. He definitely had a weird yearbook, and the calendar thing's weird. Anyway, so that frog would bounce. It had way more personality than freaking Natalya does.
Oh my gosh!
Golly, that is gonna be.
That was not necessary to reference to.
It's gonna be a sad rivalry because they're spending all this time making them friends, and I just don't know if Natalya can carry the workload of good promos.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. We shall see.
Yeah, we shall see.
I have faith in her. I think she's going to be just fine. I mean. I don't fully disagree with you, but I think we're missing the subtle nuances of what she's been doing. I know you're all she is face. No, but that's her. She's just supposed to be the powerhouse. What are you laughing at? We always do this to me. You just laugh every time I speak.
I know. It's not you. It's Jamel goes, so Mike could be a serial killer.
Yeah. No, I'm actually concerned. Everybody, if you don't hear from me next week, please come
Send a search party.
Send a search party. Okay.
No, it'll be fine. We're happily married. Anyway, so yeah, that was the Ronda Rousey thing. And like Jamel says, the Bellas, they are heat magnets. I do want to mention about Brie Bella from last week. And
can I read the Twitter?
Yes, you can read the tweets.
Okay.
And
I'm holding my phone up. No, please nobody judge me. I'm not trying to be unprofessional. I can read. Okay.
I just talked about taking a dead frog and bouncing it on its hind legs as like a source of entertainment because we were bored in science class. That's the only reason why we were doing it, by the way. But science class is boring. And what can I say?
No, I love science.
So when we do this show, it is just all raw opinion. You know, we just watched the show, and this is just our unfiltered, not really processed, raw opinions of things. I was definitely hard on Brie Bella last week a little bit. But I was more, and like, it was with the understanding that I understand that things happen in the ring. Mistakes happen. But she was on a streak of, you know, being a little reckless on the suicide dives. And I said, hey, you know, you want to do a suicide dive and hurt yourself? You know, that's your deal. But, you know, I mean, I get it. You know, Hell in a Cell, she punched The Miz and cut him, you know, with a wild right hand. And then she comes in and knees Liv Morgan in the head not once but twice. And I was like, okay, it's one thing to be reckless with yourself. It's another thing to, like, now you really hurt this girl.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I don't think what you said
it wasn't as harsh as like some of the stuff that was going on the internet.
Honestly, that was a critique, and you're not the type of person who's writing Brie Bella off as like, okay, you know, she's the worst.
No. And but I don't even think that she botches it. I think that she's a pretty, you know, she's not as crisp as Nikki, but she, you know.
Because there's been some, I've been, you know, really tuning into the Instagram comments. She has not posted anything since last week at all. Nikki's posted. Nikki's been getting a lot of heat. Pretty much like everybody's been getting, any outlet where it involves Brie Bella, that's been getting heat. So Daniel Bryan writes, to defend his wife, which I don't blame him. I am proud of how strong my wife is after accidentally injuring Liv Morgan last week, the first time Brie's ever hurt another performer. She's been subject to a constant barrage of social media attacks. Almost every wrestler has accidentally hurt someone, but rarely do you see this kind of hate when it happens. For example, I concussed Randy Orton in 2012 after hitting him with what was supposed to be a chair to the back. Unfortunately, part of the side hit him in the back of the head, and he was forced to miss a pay-per-view. In 2009, in our last match against each other, I concussed Nigel McGuinness after doing a dive into the crowd where he hit his head on the floor, and there are others. As for the yes kicks, 2 weeks ago I accidentally kicked Andrade directly in the head due to miscommunication on my part. I feel fortunate that he is okay because there are few feelings worse than hurting someone. Despite all that, never did I receive the backlash Brie did this week. With all the negative things said about my wife, nobody was harder on her than she was on herself. Thank you to the many who reached out to support her, both publicly and privately. We all wish Liv Morgan a speedy recovery. # end cyberbullying.
Yeah.
In the Nigel example, I did much worse.
It's okay. Yeah. So.
But, excuse me.
Come on. Like we went through the whole thing.
We continue the match. This is the last part. We continue the match, headbutting each other and giving me multiple elbows to the head. And if by botch, quotes, you mean hit my feet on a suicide dive, I've done that countless times as well. # end cyberbullying.
Okay. Yes. So the cyberbullying thing, that is the main portion of this. People
are ruthless.
They're nasty.
Well, we saw a couple weeks ago when it was the pediatric cancer month and the things that people said.
Yes.
So obviously with this, the Brie Bella thing last week, this was up for like, I'm not saying it's right by any means, but if people are going to insult that, and these kids,
I know,
and call babies ugly like they're their children. That this is definitely something that people were going to be cyberbullying on.
Well, also there seems to be like this like really unhealthy hatred of the Bellas.
It's not necessary.
And what they stand for.
I love my girls. And Brie messed up last week. She did, no doubt about it.
She made a big error.
And I was critical of it.
Yeah,
but I don't hate the girl, and I don't wish anything bad upon the girl.
Right. I mean, if she kicked her in the head once and then held up, on the second kick, knowing that she kicked her right square in the face, like, yeah, I would have been like, okay, well, that's just a botch. But like that stuff happens.
It was it was a serious,
twice and she didn't hold up.
Right.
Like,
It was a serious thing that she did.
It was a big deal.
Obviously, there was consequences to it. Liv Morgan's injured.
I thought the worst thing that happened was that the referee didn't just get Morgan out of the match immediately,
right,
and that
exactly.
she ran in and did a triple suplex spot. I thought that was terrible, and the referee was just standing there not knowing what to do. He should have called Brie back immediately.
She was in a lot of shock. I don't think she realized what she had done until she was, like you said, until she couldn't lift her up. Right. When it was dead weight, I don't think she had any
she knew
realization.
She knew right away.
Well, after that, I don't think she had any true realization. Oh my god! And I think she was
but
it's the referee's job.
It's the referee's job to protect the performers in the ring. I mean, they take out plastic gloves every time somebody gets a nosebleed,
right?
But like the girl was out on her feet, and Brie was literally. It made no sense for Brie to drag Liv Morgan to her own corner, but she was just trying to get her out of the ring so she could tag out. Because the referee wasn't doing anything. That's the part that was really
right.
Bad
That's
about
mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's the part that.
But you know what?
Sucked.
Anybody who's really gonna like cyberbully Brie and like, come on, like this. She had and we said this last week. She had no intentions of hurting her.
Of course
but
not.
No one goes into the ring and is like, I want.
That's not even an argument. Not even an argument.
No, but there were people who argue that this
Of course
week.
there are, but
and
it's not an argument.
It's like there's no reason to hate somebody. Like, you don't have to like them. You don't have to like them as a performer. That's fine.
Oh God!
Don't be a Bella fan. Fine, but
right.
torture the poor
woman. But look
woman?
at these people. Look at the quality of people that attack.
Okay, well these are the.
They are sad, lonely people who wouldn't honestly like I say all the time. The nerd who wouldn't know the naked body if not for National Geographic magazine.
Well, here's the thing. They're the type of people who they'll scream in the crowd. Right? Like if she stepped in that ring tonight, we spoke about this. If she stepped in that ring tonight, there definitely would have been something from the crowd. But because she kept her distance and she was just at ringside with, the match, it would have been fine.
Right. These are the people that their entire internet browser history, most of the websites end in hub.com.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, if they saw them face to face in front of them, they wouldn't even say anything to them. They'd be like, oh my God, I love you guys. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
it's the same thing with Dave Meltzer when I was talking with Brian Alvarez at Starcast, and I said to him, I go, so is Dave getting a lot of crap this week? And he's like, no, everybody's been super nice because Dave had that thing going into Starcast where he said the thing about one of the Iconics,
right,
and everybody was like, oh, Dave Meltzer sucks, hate Dave Meltzer forever, and then they go up to him, oh, Dave,
you're my favorite podcast.
Like
they would go up
these
to the
people would
like,
never.
I love you guys. You're so good.
They can't even say anything to Dave Meltzer. They would never say anything to the Bellas.
No,
give me a break.
No,
Blue Bella, Limburger Bella, Stinking Bishop Bella. These are all different cheeses because her name's Brie. It's Brie's.
I get it.
That's in the chat room.
I get it.
I did catch that actually. I watched Wrestleview Weekly last week, and they were going nuts on the cheeses. Yeah, it was a sad situation. I feel for Brie. And actually, and I gotta say, it takes a lot of guts.
She went out there tonight
to go out there. Obviously she has no choice. It's her job as well. But I mean, like if you look at this picture of her, this kind of says it all. She has a very confident look on her face. She's not letting anything faze her. And honestly, the crowd didn't ride her at all.
No, they didn't.
And it's probably the trickle effect of like the Ronda Rousey thing. Her being there, but Brie was there and she looked confident, and you know what? It's when you fall off the horse, you make a few mistakes. Yeah, she and honestly, obviously, small sample size too for Brie. She hasn't had many matches, and she only came back basically after SummerSlam. The SmackDown after SummerSlam. That was basically her big return, right? Would you say?
Yeah, and
so small sample size. She's
before that was the Rumble.
Yeah, small sample size. So she's made a few errors, but that's to be expected. But on obviously injuring somebody, it's a big deal. You need to protect your opponent, but stuff happens in the ring. So, but none of that should reflect on her as a person or warrant the kind of awful, things that were being
People were
lobbed
terrible
at
to her this week.
They were terrible.
So
that's
everything.
Yep. So people suck. Wrestling fans do. They not the fans that listen to our show.
No,
but
you guys are awesome.
There are, wrestling fans that stink sometimes. They're and
awesome.
Scent wise and also personality wise, they're pretty sad. Okay. We got Bobby Roode versus Connor.
That was my favorite match.
What?
No.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. Can I just say this, please?
Okay.
What is with this Connor build?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Chat, I need your help. Do you see it? I don't see it. What's with the Connor build?
What is with this Connor build here?
Please, in the chat room, I want to hear from you. What is it? Why? What? Like?
Okay, so
Does he have a cousin?
I know. I kind of like marveled at the fact that last week was like, okay, I can honestly say I've recapped probably almost 4,000 matches in my 10 years on Wrestleview. Maybe 4,000, maybe a little more. Who knows? But last week I kind of marveled at the fact that like I can almost guarantee you that I've never ever recapped a Connor singles victory. Now I have recapped back-to-back Connor victories on Raw.
Why?
I don't know. You know what? Like I really liked the momentum that Chad Gable was getting, and then that got stymied, and now it's like now they're even Steven. Now they're all back to square one.
Bobby Roode is losing to Connor.
Well, Bobby Roode's dead. He's dead. There is
what a shame.
Whatever anybody thought Bobby Roode was going to be is obviously if you haven't realized by now that is over.
All right,
it's over.
I'm sorry. I had high hopes.
Over.
I'm sorry. I was trying to be positive.
But damn
Excuse me.
I have to say this about Connor. He is a 2x4 in the ring. He's an inanimate object, but damn, I love the Dominator finisher, and I don't know why Bobby Lashley doesn't do that. That was his original.
At us?
Because it's just mind-boggling to me. Because Bobby Lashley is so milquetoast. He is so bland.
Stop yelling at us.
It's annoying because I'm going to get to it. But like that was Bobby Lashley's finisher when he was in WWE the first go round. And I don't think Bobby Lashley has a finisher right now.
I don't know. Maybe
Connor's
paying
delayed
somebody.
vertical suplex. That's not a finisher.
Who's Connor paying?
The Dominator. That is such a great friggin' move. And Connor has it.
Right. Who's he paying? Who does he know?
I don't know.
Is he cousins with Vince McMahon and he just realized it? He's like a long lost cousin?
I don't know. But God, I love
What does the chat say?
More Connor. But Doug Lackey says more Connor.
What?
Yeah.
Doug?
So,
really?
Anyway. Welcome to the wasteland. There was this moment of bliss with Alexa Bliss talking about meeting Trish Stratus as a 7-year-old, and Trish burped in her face and said that, if you want an autograph, it's going to cost you $50, and ripped up her book and stomped her foot. So when it comes to meeting your hero, satisfaction not guaranteed. I was like, oh, whatever, pretty innocuous, pretty harmless. But I can't think of Alexa Bliss without thinking now of like Nia Jax, and like they did that big push on Nia, with Nia Jax getting that going for this award, and they had her on the Raw 2 weeks in a row. No Nia Jax this week, no hint of her. So
I don't even want to get into it.
That was odd. B Team versus the Ascension. The Revival. Sorry, I'm still thinking of Connor. The B Team versus the Revival.
This again?
Yeah, I thought that the friggin' Revival took such a step forward last week. Well, I really did.
Yeah, it was very strange.
And then they're back to square one.
Right. It was very strange for them to have a match with Drew and Dolph for the title, and now they're just back with the B Team. Right. And then let alone who wins.
The B team. The B team. I know. I watched it. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me because it was like I saw the B team go against Dolph and Drew. The Revival go against Dolph and Drew last week, and I was like, you know what? I had no expectations whatsoever for that match, and it wound up being like really good.
It was.
And I was like, you know what? Like I know that they don't.
Give them credibility.
I know obviously they don't fit into the plans for like what they're trying to do, but maybe you make some plans. Maybe like you squeeze them into a tag match just to give them another look.
Right, like maybe you
I was
have
like,
that plan B.
This actually had like some potential for like if they were given time on like a pay-per-view or something like that. Yeah, like give them a tag match. What could it hurt? What could it hurt?
Well, it had credibility. It gave them kind of that, and then
they look great in it.
And like you said, it could have been like that plan B, that plan C. Like,
right.
Okay, we're just going to keep them involved. They won't be like top priority. But
B-team,
and I like the B. I love the B team, but
I know, but it's the B team.
But it's the B team.
Like they had no business, going
silly.
from a really hot match last week to losing to the B team, and then it's like the
revival,
and then of course, and don't take this as me saying like, oh, I'm not on board with AOP, because I totally am. AOP attacks B team after the match, which totally cool. Loved it. Love watching. I could watch AOP destroy people all day long. But that win that the B team got over the revival was totally negated, because did they look like winners coming out of that?
No, they did not.
No. So it's like they could have put any other team, put together No Way Jose and Mojo Rawley, make them a friggin' tag team or something stupid like that, and have them lose to the B team and then the B team's win gets negated. Not like I don't know.
No, it was stupid. It
whatever.
was stupid.
I'm not gonna
Moving
waste.
on.
I'm not gonna waste my breath on that one.
No, moving on.
A quick little segment: WWE teams with Susan G. Komen for another year. They had Dana Warrior, the cult leader of the Warrior Foundation, at ringside, alongside Dr. Kansas Grizzlack, who's a researcher, fundraiser Patty Bolger, and 10-year breast cancer survivor Jennifer Teeler. I am down for WWE's charity work continuing. I loved what they did for Pediatric Cancer Month. The Susan G. Komen thing has been going on, I think, for the better part of 8 years now. I think they started in 2010. They're obviously not going with the pink rope this month, like they have in the past, but what you can't deny, the philanthropic endeavors of WWE is something to marvel at. Mm-hmm. They do a great job with it. I just don't like Dana Warrior being involved in it. She is so creepy and she is so culty. I don't know. It's just whatever. Yeah, Doug's. I just love, every now and then I look down at the chat and Doug just has No Way Jose's on the FBI top 10 most wanted of Doug's milk carton, because he hasn't been on Raw in so long. Probably for the better. Like,
oh, Doug.
Like, I always I think about some of these people that get called up from NXT, like like No Way Jose, and I always remember that stupid thing that Triple H said a couple of years ago when he goes, we're not bringing up anybody from NXT unless we have 6 months of storyline planning, like right away. And Victoria's dancing in the other window from the No Way Jose. Like, where's No Way Jose's 6 months of plans? He was brought up with zero ideas. He was jobbed out in his second week.
His plans got shut down.
Oh my God. But the best part is that he wrestles on Main Event and stuff like that, and they still hire people to come out and dance with him. I couldn't believe my eyes when we were in Brooklyn and friggin' No Way Jose was opening up the Main Event taping against Mojo Rawley.
I would go out.
And yeah, no, of course, but like they had a crew dancing with him. Like, oh my God, I guess they won't let that gimmick go.
No,
whatever. Adam Rose 2.0. Okay, so we talked about tiering the Shield matches. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre was actually pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Until the finish, of course. But the match, like anything, and I'm glad that Doug's in the room. So I can say again, emphatically, that I think that Seth Rollins is the best wrestler in the world right now, and it's just he can get a crowd going. Like I it's the little things that he does, like when he hit a suicide dive tonight, and he didn't like the reaction. He hit the suicide dive, landed on his feet, and he grabbed McIntyre, and then he goes like this. He goes, like come on, people, like, what the hell? And then he starts dragging them into it with the stuff that he does, and he's very creative with his moveset. You know, he always pulls out something different every week, and really consistently has the best match on the show. He takes bad material that's written for him and can do something with it. He's the total package to me, and he showed it again tonight. Now, they had a great match, and this was an awesome counter here too. When I think Drew was going for a short arm clothesline, Rollins counters into a Falcon Arrow. Awesome stuff, awesome sauce. I will watch it one more time. If you're not watching and if you're listening to this on a podcast, just understand that this was super, super awesome. Seth Rollins just crushed that. And then, unfortunately, the finish didn't do the match justice at all. And, like, I get it. Like, beforehand, they did this thing with Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre where Ziggler was saying, like, I can feel it. Ambrose is going to turn. He's going to turn. He's going to come with us. And Strowman said, yeah, we need winners around here. And he looked at Ziggler, because he had lost his match. And he said, you know, and then they walked off. You know, so Ziggler was like looking down. So McIntyre did pick up his win. And then, you know, this is where everybody started coming out. So Ziggler, you didn't like the thing with Ziggler running in. I know that.
No, I didn't.
Why? Okay, so I think I know why you didn't like it, because you don't like people running into the ring right in front of the referee. Number one.
Right? Why did he?
Yeah, I know it's one of those things in WWE that makes no sense.
It made no sense at all, because you talk about how he literally ran in front. He just ran in. And then it's like, oh, Drew McIntyre went. There's clearly interference. There's this 200-pound man running into the ring, and he's right there.
Yes.
There's no.
Right.
It wasn't like he was. You know, he was by. It's like, you know, off in. He was in the middle of the ring.
Right.
So it was the definitive interference.
Right.
There's no question about it.
Even if he doesn't make contact, I think if somebody enters the ring, I think,
and who's not supposed to be there.
Right.
He wasn't at ringside.
Well, at the very least, the match gets ruled no contest. But that's if there was actual rules to wrestling.
But like, it just made no sense. No, I didn't like it, because it's like he was right there.
Yes, I know, it's stupid. It is stupid. I think everybody can kind of agree with that.
Yeah,
it's like,
you need to have some sort of consistency.
Jamal goes, "Dang, the ending broke Victoria."
Hell yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
And believe me, she was a lot more fired up about it beforehand, too. I think, like...
you triggered me.
I had to re-trigger this thing.
I tried to suppress that memory.
She suppressed it, and I was like, I want to hear some of the vitriol, because she was using some colorful language, I will tell you that.
No, I wasn't using colorful language. Don't lie to everybody. I was using colorful hand movements.
Yes.
And I was loud.
Quite.
I was very loud. I was like, why is this happening?
Right. So even though
I actually got up, I was like, why?
Right. So they start.
Now I'm coughing.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so what happens is Ziggler runs in, distracts Rollins. Claymore kick. Rollins gets pinned by McIntyre in a non-title match. And then it's McIntyre and Ziggler double teaming Rollins. Roman Reigns runs out. Brings out Braun Strowman, and then it's like Dean Ambrose runs down, and that was a missed opportunity. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear the announcers go, "Who is he going to help?" You know, because it was just like, okay, Ambrose is helping the Shield, and then they just beat up on Ambrose, and then that's the end of that storyline there. Okay, and so 2 weeks in a row,
goodbye.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row they do this thing, and it's the same result almost. The beatdown was good. Obviously, you want to do a beatdown with the heels, especially because, I'd like to see I'm sure the Shield will go over in Australia, especially after this beatdown. The beatdown looked good, though. Gives the heel team, the heel unit, a little momentum going in, because they haven't teamed all that much. And then doing the Shield fist bump at the end, too. Kind of good. but you know
what? Sorry.
I would have liked a better finish, a finish that the writers took a little more time to, like kind of cultivate, rather than just Ziggler runs in distraction
I get
or whatever.
it. Ziggler, they had that, Strowman made it seem like he was the weakest link of the. He's like, you don't want to be. He's like, maybe you're the weakest link. And then he felt like he had to prove himself. And he just runs in, and then the ref's right there, and blah blah.
Oh boy.
It really bothered me, okay?
Yeah. I would have taken a schmaz. Yes, I would have taken a schmaz finish. Absolutely big time schmaz finish. Talk about this next thing because it was so damn good.
All right, focus back on me then.
Okay, you're back.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elias and Kevin Owens. I don't care. I don't even want to talk about the set. I don't even want to talk about what they talked about.
No,
all they
who
did,
cares?
they tried to do a promo about John Cena, but man, Elias.
As soon as he mentioned Seattle,
the Seattle Supersonics leaving, and then mentioning Oklahoma City. I haven't heard this level of heat in so long. Other than like the Roman Reigns thing when he beat the Undertaker, I guess. And I'm probably being too superfluous on this one, but damn, it was as soon as he mentioned the Supersonics leaving. And he said this is about as ridiculous. And actually, I'll just wind up showing it. It doesn't make sense. Like a basketball team in Seattle that started off this ridiculously long, sustained booing from the crowd. It was unbelievable. It was magic.
It was awesome.
It was Vicky Guerrero heat.
It was like more than a Brooklyn crowd. Like because we always get that.
They were pissed.
That was intense.
So intense that like, and thank you. Oh, Ashley, thank you for saying 4 straight minutes of continuous booing for that.
It was 4 straight minutes.
At least.
That's not even an exaggeration.
And it only stopped when Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley came out because nobody cares about them.
If you look at Elias' face,
Bobby.
he couldn't keep a straight face. He was
they
was not expecting that. You could tell they were like
they liked it though.
Of course they did. They knew they were going to get heat for it, but it was so raw.
It was so loud that like obviously like, and I got to commend the production truck for this because there's so little spontaneity on this show anymore. Everything is so like just medically cleaned, everything
vanilla.
Is so vanilla, and it's just like, okay, you can tell that they practice everything now, practice all their shots. Where are you going to be? Let's do our shot here. So like that kind of spontaneity of that live aspect of Raw, where Vince McMahon used to say like, well, you trip in the middle rope, you meant to do that. It's live TV, pal, just keep going. Some of that spontaneity's gone, so I gotta commend the production for listening to this crowd, acknowledging it, and then actually turning up the house lights so you can see how pissed these people were, and they're like doing hand gestures and they're boom boom.
It was awesome.
It was great. It was really
like
great.
Vintage heat. Real vintage heat, because that's what I remember when you show me like on the network old Raws.
Yeah.
And the crowd is pretty much like that almost all the time.
Yeah.
Where you didn't hear silence too often. And that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you were
like just a buzz through the crowd.
Yeah.
It was totally awesome.
That's what I like to hear.
And I love Elias and Kevin Owens trying to truck through their promo about John Cena and how they can't see him and all that stuff. And they're talking louder, and then every now and then they're taking more jabs at Seattle just to keep it going because they just had a blast. You could tell they had a blast.
Can you turn up my mic? He's
yeah,
like,
turn up my mic. And he's like, turn off these lights. I don't want to see these people, but they didn't turn up the lights because it was the people were just so great. Sometimes like there are so many crowds nowadays where they go into business for themselves and they try to ruin the show just to entertain themselves. Those aren't good crowds. This was an awesome crowd. This was a great crowd.
This actually made me like their matchup because. Well, Billy and I were talking, and he was...
Billy Hafner, that is.
Yes. And he was saying how he likes them together. He's like, I really like Elias and Kevin Owens together. And I was like, Billy, I have to disagree. I'm not interested in this pairing at all.
Right.
And we hardly ever, disagree on anything. But then by the end of this, I'm like, okay, I see what he's talking about now. They really do play off of each other.
Yeah.
Very well.
It was fun.
And in that moment, because they do have that spontaneity in their personalities and where they can feed off of a crowd, I'm like, okay, this is starting to make sense to me.
Yep.
So now I really, really like their interaction together because they can get a heat like that. Maybe not just what they said, but obviously they have a strong connection. And it's working.
Yeah,
but
it's something.
It's something.
It's just a random matchup, just so they can do this thing with John Cena and Bobby Lashley at Super
made
Showdown.
it important.
But it actually made for a really, really cool segment.
Yeah.
And actually, Doug makes a great point here: is that Owens probably had no idea what was going on at all because he's Canadian. He doesn't watch. I don't think he probably doesn't watch basketball. But they do have the Toronto Raptors up there, so there are basketball teams in Canada. Your head looks so small now that you back from the camera. Oh my god, that's so funny. All right, so
don't make fun of me.
That sustained booing finally ended as soon as Lio Rush came out and was talking about John Cena being a legend, and then introduced Bobby Lashley, who then there was no more reaction after that.
Nope.
Bobby
Bye-bye.
Lashley versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens beats. Yeah, I know. Goodbye reactions. Yeah, Lashley has some offense and stuff like that. Like I'm looking at the spine buster they did to Owens, but at the end of the day, he got pinned by Owens. And Lio Rush, again, for me, really just kind of steals the show. He's so much fun. Like, he came off the top rope, he got swatted out of air. This guy, he's got good promo ability. He's got I love his evasion stuff. The stuff where he's avoiding them going through the legs and all this stuff, and it's a lot of fun. I initially loved the pairing of Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley because as you know, Bobby Lashley needs somebody to talk for him. And although I think if Lio Rush was with him during that sisters angle, I don't think that would have helped either guy at the time anyway. So Lio Rush can't save everything, but I have to say I'm kind of going back on it now because you don't want your damn manager, who is literally not even 3/4 the size of Lashley, outshining the guy. But he's outshining Bobby Lashley. He's way more interesting than Bobby Lashley. And that's not really Lio Rush's fault. It's more, the booking of Bobby Lashley and also Bobby Lashley's lack of ability to connect with a crowd. He can't connect. He's not connecting at all.
No, he's not. And, eventually it is going to catch up to him because it already is with Lio Rush.
Yeah.
People are just very into him and...
Yeah.
He needs it, but he doesn't need somebody as strong, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. They should give him like Drew Gulak or something. I don't know. Like something, but whatever Lashley's doing, it's not working. It just isn't. Bayley versus Alicia Fox.
All right, skip. Bye.
Yeah, skip. Okay, so Bayley wins. Harmless match,
Moving on.
But damn, Finn Balor is just like, everything he does just is so terrible. I don't know. Like,
you're such a Finn Balor hater.
But he stinks. That's why I'm a hater. I'm not really even a hater. I just think he stinks. I don't even care about him enough to hate him. He just stinks. He exists.
All right, so why are you talking about him?
He has solid matches, but like his character sucks.
I think you do care because you're talking about it. So you're a hater.
Oh, shut up. Anyway.
You hear that, everybody?
The big angle of the night. Shawn Michaels addressing the WWE Super Showdown. That's not even the biggest news coming out of this thing. And we'll get to the biggest news. Shawn Michaels comes down. He's saying, just basically, if, Undertaker's mad because I picked my best friend to win the match and this and that. And... initially I was going to this thing as a fan, but now I'm going to be in the corner of my brother, just like Kane is in the corner of his brother. And if Kane crowds the ring, he'll be brushed back with some sweet chin music. Kane's music hits. The mayor of Knoxville County appears in the ring behind Shawn Michaels. I even put that in my recap. I was very proud of that. I love what Shawn Michaels, another guy, a former greatest wrestler in the world. In the 90s, not many people could touch Shawn Michaels. I know there's a few others that were comparable to him in other companies, but in WWF, no one was better than Shawn Michaels. Maybe Bret Hart until he left, and then it was Shawn Michaels again. Even when he came back, if you just take the second half of Shawn Michaels' career when he came back in 2002 to 2010, that's a Hall of Fame career on its own. So this guy's had 2 Hall of Fame careers, and it's the little things he does. He knows Kane's behind him, and I just love this reaction.
I know, me too.
He goes, "Ooh, spooky," and then he turns around and Kane uppercuts. He knew it.
Awesome.
There it is.
That was awesome.
Perfect. It was awesome. And the best part was the uppercut. He kept the cowboy hat on. That was amazing. And then
Classic
that brought
cowboy.
out the Undertaker, and he's standing next to Kane, and the crowd's going crazy. Undertaker stands over Shawn
That
Michaels.
was great.
Goes for a tombstone pile driver, Triple H, a double choke slam. And this is the big news right here. Number 1, Shawn Michaels taking bumps. But number 2, I don't think you can see it on the GIF, but we knew Shawn Michaels got a haircut, but somebody got a haircut. Shawn Michaels is totally bald now. So he initially just cut it down. He had the ponytail and then the receding hairline. He just cut it down. He's totally bald. He shaved his head. Shawn Michaels has no hair. I thought it was weird that he was wearing a do-rag. He's bald. He's bald.
Okay.
That was amazing to me. I don't know why. It was weird.
Does anybody else share your passion with his bald head?
I don't know. I'm sure we'll see in a few minutes. I know we're on a little tape delay here, but wow, he's bald
boy.
He is bald as a button. That was crazy. And then Undertaker finishes off Triple H with the tombstone pile driver.
I thought Triple H looked amazing. He is like the...
Yeah, he looked great in
He
this.
looks
He looked good.
fantastic.
Obviously, he's in great shape.
He's in incredible shape.
But I'm looking at the GIF right here. Even the little things I always say the little things that Shawn Michaels did that was just amazing. Even this, while Undertaker has him up in the tombstone position, Shawn Michaels has his arm out like, no, please. And then he drops him and he's like, oh. Great stuff.
Awesome.
I know not everybody is a fan of this match happening one last time, but I loved it. I've loved every second of it.
Makes a nice build.
You know what? I grew up with these guys. You know, like I agree, and I've said it many times that Undertaker is not Undertaker anymore, and I hope that he decides to hang it up very soon. I thought he should have hung it up at when they were down in Orlando when he faced Roman Reigns at 33. But he still kept coming back for more. Obviously, the Saudi money is a lot. There's some money there, and he still has the bug. So can't begrudge a guy that, I know it's a tough business to walk away, but I always thought that Undertaker would be that guy that knew when time was up. I do believe time is up, but I guess we're going to get like a few more matches. We'll see how long this goes. But in the meantime, I enjoyed the build-up for this. I thought for the most part, some promos were kind of just like whatever, but like they built this thing up really well. And I got to say, I'm excited to see it. I know not everybody can say that, but I am excited to see it.
I'm excited too.
Okay, wow, I can smell the excitement on you. Yeah, so it's that was Raw. Oh my God, you know what I didn't do to start off the show? I didn't show the poll. But
Ooh.
I guess now we'll talk about. I guess now I can show the poll. So I guess real quick, what did you think of Raw?
That was my favorite segment of the night. With Shawn Michaels and Kane, Undertaker, and Triple H.
Yeah.
As far as favorite segment, my favorite match of the night was the Ronda Rousey Riott.
Would-be Wyatt.
But I didn't like the Raw overall.
Okay.
Thumbs down.
Yeah. You see, I got to agree with that. I thought it was very, very, very sleepy. The only things that I really liked, I liked the Rousey match. I liked most of the Rollins-McIntyre match. I loved the crowd reaction for Elias and Kevin Owens.
I forgot to mention that too.
And the final segment of the show. But the rest of the show was just like, just felt like they were going through the motions. Let's just get everybody out of here unharmed, and let's get to Australia and just do the show.
No, absolutely.
And they again, another month of like hellacious travel,
just
coming
back and forth,
going to Saudi Arabia, then Europe, and they got Evolution. They got a whole bunch of stuff they got to get
There's a lot
through.
of stuff coming up.
A lot of stuff they got to get through.
So it's can't blame them.
I got to give it the old thumbs down too.
Thumbs down.
I got to give it thumbs down because I there was more that I didn't like than that I did like.
Yes.
But you're not going to believe this. Twitter does not agree. 60% thumbs up.
Wow.
With 55 votes. It's been up for about
maybe we're like just
over
really
an hour.
tired too.
No, I think we're still right. But, obviously, like, our opinions, it's just our opinion. other people enjoyed the show, and you know what? I more power to them. If you enjoyed that show,
good for you.
Good for you. At the end of the day, wrestling's supposed to be fun.
And if you're having fun,
and you should my job obviously is to recap these shows, critique, give opinions, and now that is Victoria's job as well. If I didn't have to watch it so closely, I don't think I would have as many qualms and questions and stuff like that.
I think so.
If I could be like that guy that's like kind of going back and forth between the Chiefs game tonight and wrestling, checking my fantasy team and going back and forth, on segments that I don't care for, I'd probably enjoy the show just as much. So I'm kind of handicapped by my role. I would never give up my role. I love what I do, but at the same time, I do recognize that the past 10 years have made me, I've become sharper with wrestling, but I've also become, it's also harder for me to like really enjoy sometimes, just sit back and enjoy. And I kind of miss that sometimes. But yeah, so I'm still going with a thumbs down, but I can see like people giving it a thumbs up.
Me too, because I think based off of the segments that we enjoyed too.
And also don't forget, people vote like right after they see like that final segment.
Right,
that was good stuff. Oh, I like this. Doug Lackey, need to get Mike or Victoria on for Wrestleview Weekly. Ah, yes. You will talk to.
We would be happy to.
Our people will get in touch with your people, and we will arrange this. I think Victoria will probably be better on the show than I will, or maybe we can. Oh, could you imagine having both of us? Oh no, I don't think we can. I don't think we can.
Why?
I'd rather. I want to see you and Doug interact actually, and I just want to kick back and enjoy like a fan.
All
I would love to see that.
Sounds good.
Quentin Walters, I agree. More Tedescos, very good stuff. Well, anyway, people, we thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to Doug Lackey for coming out and joining us tonight. This is very exciting. Nice to see Doug here for the live portion of the show.
Yes.
Because I know Doug listens to us on replay and stuff like that. We enjoy Wrestleview Weekly. Make sure you check out Wrestleview Weekly on Twitch TV every Wednesday. Damn it. And Doug will... Doug's not doing Super Showdown because he's an elitist and he's not going to get up at 10 whatever.
Who is doing Super Showdown?
Adam and Paul are. I guess because Adam's up anyway with the baby, so I guess he doesn't sleep.
Yeah, and we have the wedding.
My brother is getting married on Saturday, so please wish me luck. Obviously,
yes,
you can
he's
see
the best man.
I am the best man, so obviously you can see that I don't have an issue speaking publicly. So I think my best man speech should be pretty good, but just wish me luck anyway.
We'll let you know next week.
But we got good stuff coming up. So if I got him a Super Showdown, catch it on replay later on. But I'm gonna catch it because they sold me on with the last segment. So that's what I'm gonna do. But maybe I'll do what real fans do now and just kind of fast forward the stuff I don't want to see and just get to the stuff I do want to see. So maybe I can enjoy this like a true wrestling fan now.
What?
We'll see. We shall see. But anyway, people, thank you for joining us live. Thank you to Jamel. Thank you to Quentin. Thank you to everybody. Eric, Ashley, everybody that's in the room. Billy Hafner, Acer, Torqueman. We appreciate everybody in the chat room. We appreciate everybody who downloads us and listens to us streaming on iTunes. And we're moving to more streaming platforms very soon. We're going to get our faces out there more. Thank you to people who watch us on YouTube, on DVR, whatever. It's exciting for us. We love doing what we do, and we hope you enjoyed listening to us. So on that note, I'm Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.